1 ball and 2 strikes. Our apologies to those of you who are YouTube viewers. My software lied to me. We're now up and running for you on YouTube. 1-2 pitch. Held there by the catcher, Devin Adams. And he did not get the call. Counts even at 2 now on Chris Conley. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody aboard. Conley hitting .500 on the season. That's 6 for 12, by the way. Lofts that one toward left field, sends the left fielder Seamster back. It's over his head. It hits at the edge of the warning track and bounces off the outfield sign out there. Chris Conley with a 1-out double to left. It was looking like it was going to be routine, but then Seamster realized it was going up over his head. So Conley at second with 1 out. Conley making contact and getting on base, going to the opposite field. He sprays it around. He had a bit of a problem with his calf area, and that is healing up fine, thank you. Opening night, he was pulling the ball quite a bit, perhaps because of that issue with his leg, but he seems to be totally healthy now. Brookover at the plate. Trying to advance. No runs on 2 hits for both teams now. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Houston Roth with a 1-0 pitch. Ben Brookover watches that one go into the left-hander's batter's box for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Ben Brookover, of course, one of the leading hitters on the team as well. As Ben at this point is 4 for 12, and of course that's your old .333 batting average. Fouls that one off, and the count now 2-1 to Ben Brookover. Young man from UTSA, hails from San Antonio. Junior at UTSA. 2-1 the count and the pitch to him. Cut and a miss, and the count is even at 2 now. Trying to tee off on that fastball by Houston Roth, and he missed. Good idea. Two balls, 2 strikes. Roth looks in at his catcher, Adams. Looks back at Conley. Two-two pitch. It's a foul ball in the batter's box. Off the plate by Ben Brookover, and count is still even at 2. Home plate umpire gives that ball a quick rub or two, and that one will be back in the ball game. And of course, if you watch the Major League game, you know darn well that was out of play for the rest of the game. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ben Brookover. Chris Conley with a 1-out double is out there at second base. 2-2 pitch misses high, and the count now 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes. Houston Roth has to clean his cleats out, as we still have that nuisance drizzle coming out of the sky. And now the wind kicking up a little bit as well. Ground ball, second baseman's up with it. He gets Brookover at first, moving to third, Chris Conley. So the lead run is 90 feet away after the ground out by Ben Brookover.
Now up the back, the right field. Colin Stack.
Right fielder Colin Stack steps in. He was able to reach but was erased on the old inning-ending double play back in inning number 2. First pitch to him. And misses high for ball 1. First game for us to see Colin Stack, the Jamestown, New York native. Here's the 1-0 pitch to him. Catches outside corner, and the count is even up at 1 now on the right-handed hitting right. Colin Stack. Colin was tied up for a bit there at the beginning of the season in postseason play with University of Maryland, Baltimore County. He's here now. And like I said before, Anthony Barone says, glad you're here. Put on the uni. Play right. One, two, the count to Colin Stack. Conley down at third. 2 out, the pitch. This is down the right field line and just foul by about 6 inches. Bounced over the base bag, and that was foul, but not by much. Two strikes. Colin Stack awaiting the pitch. Outside in the dirt, and the count is even up at 2 now. This is a good at bat by Colin Stack in light of the fact that you do have the go ahead run, the first run of the game, standing down at third base if he can get him in. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. The pitch. That misses low. It's ball 3, and Devin Adams out from behind the plate and started to go toward the Elmira Pioneers dugout. It was and so Adams comes back, has a talk with Roth, and he cleans his cleats out once again. That mound dirt is going to be a little sticky out there. Houston Roth was on his way out as well. Full count pitch. Way outside, ball 4. So the walk to Colin Stack with 2 out puts at the corners for Chris Estrada.
Chris Estrada!
Estrada so far has been a fixture at third base for Anthony Barone. He's hitting .286. That's a 4 for 14 showing for him, and has scored 3 runs for the Jammers as well. Just trying to get Conley in here with 2 out. First pitch to Chris. Misses outside, ball 1. One ball and no strikes. Righty on the hill is Houston Roth, and at the plate from Corpus Christi, Texas, another UTSA guy, Chris Estrada. Takes that pitch that catches the outside corner to even at 1-1. Estrada, a junior at the University of Texas San Antonio. 1-1 the count to him. Houston Roth ready to bring them 1-1. Misses well outside, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. And you wonder how much him not getting that call with Colin Stack at the plate has affected him here. One of those things that as you go further in your career, you learn to just ignore that stuff. 2-1 pitch. Misses inside, ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike, and some disgust on the face of and his first baseman, Braden Combs, will come over and try to calm him down a bit. as I say, he seems to have been out of sorts ever since he didn't get that call on the pitch to Colin Stack that led to him walking and being first. Behind to Estrada here, 3 balls and 1 strike. Stack at first, Conley at third. 2 out, the pitch. Line drive in the hole between short and third. Alex O'Donnell will step in now with runners at first and second and 2 out, so a little 2-out magic for the Jammers here in their half of the 4th inning to take a 1-0 lead. O'Donnell grounded out to the second baseman back in the 3rd inning. First out of that inning. First pitch to him is on that outside corner and strike 1 called. This is why they teach you that when you don't get a call like that, you just don't let that bother you into the rest of the game. It's over, it's done, let it go. Fouled back to the home plate grandstand netting by Alex O'Donnell. 0-2 the count, as Houston Ross seems to be getting things back under control. Runner at second. Colin Stack down at first. Chris Estrada. A run on 3 hits for the Jammers. Alex O'Donnell takes that one on the outside corner. Strike 3 called. And we'll see if Houston Roth says anything to the home plate umpire on the way back, and he doesn't. Good choice by him. He may have wanted to at some point, but he didn't that time around. So it's a run across for the Jammers, and they pick up a couple of hits in the innings. No errors charged to the Elmira Pioneers, and 2 left on base for the Jammers. Score now at the end of 4, Jammers 1, Elmira nothing. More after this on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent, 1 in 260,000. The odds of him having 15 career NASCAR victories, 1 in 1.7 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 60. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. To you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Well, Christian Young has been spotted a 1-0 lead. And the game so far offensively has been about as chilly as the weather here at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park. Due up for the Pioneers in their half of inning number 5, shortstop Brett Rodriguez. Third baseman Brent Vosick, and the catcher Devin Adams. So far in the ball game, through 4 innings for Christian Young, he has thrown just 40 pitches. Boy, you gotta love that. 10 pitches an inning, 29 strikes and 11 balls. Returning the ball that he is warming up with the bullpen back to them, and is reset once again in left field. Rodriguez steps in. First pitch to him. Is ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes.
After that's going to be Bossack. Have a pickle.
1-0 pitch. Cut and a miss, and the count's even at 1 on Brett Rodriguez. Rodriguez coming into the game. Well, we'll first tell you about the slow chopper down the third baseline. Good reaction by Estrada and a strong throw over. Pretty fast down the line, Brett Rodriguez, but unable to get down there safely. Coming into the game, Rodriguez hitting 111. And he grounds out to Estrada there. 1 up, 1 down, and that brings up third baseman Brett Vosick. Vosick doubled back in inning number 3. Has a cut at the pitch and fouls it right at his feet in the left-hander's batter's box. And Vosick apparently thinks he's in the majors. He tossed that one over to the dugout of the Jammers. I can assure you that that will be back in play, I think. No balls and 1 strike to Brett Vosick. Vosick also coming into the game, hitting 111. Vosick's 111 based on 1 for 9, but he has scored 2 runs. In this early season, poor Elmira takes that one on the inside corner, and quickly ahead is Christian Young. No balls and 2 strikes. catcher Devin Adams. Cut and a foul tip into the glove of Chris Conley for out number 2.
Now up the bat to catcher number 8, Devin Adams.
Devin Adams was standing. This is an unusual thing. Normally, when a catcher knows he's going to be up for sure during an inning, which if you're the third batter, you're going to be up in the inning, you take the tools of ignorance off. But Devin was over there taking his practice swings in the on-deck area and still had his shin guards on. I guess he's attached to him, you know. They're my shin guards. I like having them around. Adams takes the first pitch and off-speed delivery on the outside corner, and strike 1 called. No balls, 1 strike, 2 out, nobody aboard. We're in the top of the 5th. Jammers up 1-0. Christian Young with the 0-1 pitch. Outside corner, strike 2. You just got to love the game that Christian Young has been pitching for Anthony Barone here tonight. Two out, nobody aboard. 0-2 the count. Here's Young's pitch. Cut and a miss, strike 3. Wow. Some good stuff. 2 strikeouts there in the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We have now completed 4.5 at Russell E. Dietrich Park, and the score, Jammers 1, Pioneers 0. Back with more after this on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
Chris, you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
There's your comic book collection. Race car bed.
I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I'm taking control over my financial life, and that feels pretty grown up to me.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1,000,000. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's
Feed the pig!
Are those footy pajamas?
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Back at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York, the rain picks up a little bit. Appears Houston Roth was waiting for his catcher, Devin Adams, to get ready. He's just now getting out onto the field. All of his fielders have been out waiting on him at this particular point. And the Jammers will try to add to it. They sent 6 to the plate back there in the bottom of the 4th, scoring 1 run. Casey Vincent, Connor Rule, and Jimmy Standahar due up for Barone here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Vincent walked back in the third inning. One run, 3 hits, and no errors for the Jammers. 0-2-0 for the Pioneers. Casey Vincent impresses me as the kind of guy that could get in. He's a left-handed hitter, so not the friendliest park here. Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park for left-handed hitters. 342 down the line, and that juts out in right center field to 414. A little more. Young Mr. Vincent out of Russell, PA, 6 foot, $195. And as I say, the kind of guy that you would expect to be able to put a charge into the ball. Right now wouldn't necessarily be such a bad time to do that. The right fielder is Arton Schaefer, and he's pulled in pretty well. That pitch misses outside, taken by Vincent. And the count now at 2 balls and 1 strike. Two 2-1 pitch. Misses outside and low, and now 3-1. Vincent walked in his previous at-bat, trying for a repeat performance, perhaps. We'll see if Roth ends up giving him that opportunity. 3-1 pitch up the middle and into center field for a base hit. Casey Vincent down at first base. Been on base 2 times in the ball game tonight.
Now up the bat, DH number 22.
Connor Rule steps up. Connor struck out swinging for the second out of inning number 3. Comes up with Casey Vincent at first and nobody out. Some activity down in the Pioneers bullpen. First pitch on the outside corner to Rule, taken, strike 1. Connor Rule batting 9th tonight and is the designated hitter. Casey Vincent being encouraged by Anthony Barone. Swing and a foul tip into the glove of Adam Rule, and Houston Roth quickly ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Apparently the dirt in the pen's about as sticky as the dirt on the field. 0-2 pitch. Grounded down the third baseline, bounces off the glove of the third baseman, picks it up, makes a strong throw, but it gets away the first baseman. Moving over to third is Casey Vincent. And safe down at first is Connor Rule. And we'll see what pops up on the scoreboard. That's an error.
Back up the bat for your Jammers, the second baseman, number 29, Jamestown.
So charged with an error, third baseman Brett Vosick. First error of the night for either team. And Jimmy Standahar will step in now. With Casey Vincent at third. And Connor Rule down at first. Jammers trying to add on and some heat. Houston Roth. Jimmy Standahar could not catch up with it. Swings and misses, strike one. He struck out swinging 2 times already in the ballgame in the first and in the third. A 1 pitch. Outside corner, strike 2 called. Houston Roth trying to buckle down here with 2 on and nobody out. Bounces one in front of the plate. Adams blocks it. No advance by Connor Rule down at first. I would not expect Vincent to try score on that unless he saw it squirting to the backstop. And more balls brought out by Scotty James to the home plate umpire. Counts of 1-2 on Jimmy Standahar. After that pitch in the dirt. Jammers with 4 game now. 1 run. Leading 1-0. Inside, Standahar picks up his right foot. Make sure it doesn't get hit by the pitch from Houston Roth. Counts even at 2 now on the right-handed hitting second baseman Jimmy Standahar. Two pitch. Outside in the dirt. All the way out in the left-hander's batter's box, and Devin Adams doing a great job keeping that from going any further. With this rain, the one thing it does do is tends to deaden the ball. If he's in front of it, he's going to be able to deaden it. That one's in the dirt. Ball 4, so now the bases are loaded. Connor Rule moves up to second. Standahar down to first, and Skylar Valentine will step in.
Fielder number 2, Skylar Valentine.
I think that's actually Brian Hill on the way out. I'm not that familiar with the coaching staff, but he leaves Houston Roth out there in the hill. Maybe buying some time for the pitcher warming in the bullpen. As the rain continues to fall, and the field in the area in front of the mound and from the home plate out to there has become totally tracked up with mud. Anthony Barone in vocal mode. And why not? Delay in the game and the bad weather has kept the crowd down here tonight. First pitch, Skylar Valentine well out in front of that one. Swings and misses. Third baseman Brett Vosick is in on the grass at third. Skylar thought about checking his swing, and his body said no, and he went around. Strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes. Skylar struck out swinging back in the first, hit a deep fly ball out to left field in the fourth. Behind here, no balls and 2 strikes. Bases loaded, nobody out. Jammers up 1-0. Ross pitch. Swing and a miss by Skylar Valentine, and that is strike 3. First out of the inning, Skylar Valentine, and it brings up the catcher Chris Conley. Conley scored the only run after he doubled back in the 4th inning. Also hit a fly ball out to center. By Nucerino. Those guys you want to have up at this particular point with the bases loaded. Conley takes the first pitch, and it's low inside, ball one. One ball, no strikes. Jammers with a big opportunity here. You'd like to not see them. One 0 count. And the pitch. Fouled back. Home plate grandstand netting by Conley. And the count is even at 1. Jammers get out on the at the end of the week, heading to Onondaga first. One pitch on its way. Inside corner, strike two called. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You know, these are the kinds of situations that Chris Conley lives for, to be at the plate with an opportunity to create some serious damage here. He steps back in with a count on him. Tried to get him to chase something outside and slow, and Chris Conley said, nope, not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Anthony Barone looking into the dugout. Looking like the Eskimo down there at third. 2-2 the count. I don't blame him. Just saying. Check swing fouled. Between Anthony Barone and the Jammers dugout. And the count remains even at 2. Chris Conley. Take a quick look at an interesting stat about the Jamestown Jammers. It's only 3 games, but Jammers are ahead after 5. They're 1-0. This one's hit toward left field. Left fielder backs up. This should get home. He tags. He's on his way in, and he scores with no problem. Chris Conley, sac fly, RBI. Two gone and a 2-0 Jamestown Jammers lead. Ben Brookover has a chance to keep this Jammer inning going. Vincent led off with a sharp single up the middle. Connor Rule reached on an error to the third baseman. Out at second, Jimmy Standahar down at first, and Ben Brookover at the plate. Ben had a notion. It was pretty high pitch. He laid off, and it gets called strike 1. No balls, 1 strike. Two on, 2 out. Bottom of the and a 2-0 Jammers lead. Houston Roth with a 0-1 pitch. Off speed on the outside corner, taken by Ben, and that is strike 2. Quickly ahead of Ben Brookover is Houston Roth. No balls and 2 strikes. Roth from the stretch delivers. Up the middle, second baseman was squeezing over toward the bag, and he's able to get that one with no problem. And go to his shortstop to retire the side. That'll do it for the Jammers in their half of inning number 5. They get a run on a hit, an error for Elmira, and a couple of runners left on base. The score at the end of 5, Jammers 2, Elmira nothing. More after this on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Andrew Orzel, Anthony Nucerino, and Brian Seamster due up for Elmira in their half of inning number 6. Jamestown Jammers skating along with that little 2-0 lead here. Thanks to the great pitching so far by Christian Young. Great start for him. Let's take a look at those numbers so far. Houston Roth is up at 85 pitches now, 51 strikes, 34 balls, facing 19 batters through his 5 innings of work. He's given up 2 runs on 3 hits so far. He has struck out 6 and walked 3. On the other side of the ledger, a gem by Christian Young as he works into inning number 6. Having thrown 49 pitches, 37 of those strikes. And our numbers may be skewed a bit because of the power problem we had earlier here in the booth. At the plate, Andrew Orzel takes it high, ball 1. Young has been picked at that all night. Actually, quite unusual to see him start a batter with a ball. Counts even at 1 now. Throws some heat, and that missed the inside corner of the plate, and the count goes to 2-1. Two balls, 1 strike. The pitch. Outside corner again. The count evens at 2. The favorite pitch of the PGCBL. Outside corner. 2-2. This one's lined into center field for a base hit. Orzel with a leadoff single for Elmira here in the top half of the 6th, sending things up to the top of the order, and center fielder Anthony Nucerino walked back. I'm sorry, did not walk. He walked in the 3rd and moved up on defensive indifference. He was called out on strikes for the first out of the 1st inning when Christian Young retired. First 3 batters called out on strikes. See what he can do here. Alex O'Donnell. About 2 feet off the grass down at 3rd. Not Alex, but Chris Estrada. Sorry, Chris. Toss over to first by Young, and that sends Orzel back to the bag. O'Donnell and Standahar at short and second respectively at their normal positions. Standahar squeezing a little bit toward the bag at second. First pitch to New Sereno's high and inside, ball one. 1 ball and no strikes. Pretty steady, heavy drizzle coming out of the sky now. 1-0 pitch misses high and outside, ball two. 2 balls and no strikes. And we have one of the Jammers pitchers, Colin Johnston, up doing some calisthenics. If he starts to actually loosen, that one's high inside, brushes New Sereno back, and 3 pitches, 3 balls. And when you have a 2-run lead, it's not the kind of thing you want to be doing, letting the first 2 guys up, get on. A single by Orzel, a 3-0 count here to Anthony New Sereno. Toss over to first, diving back safely is Orzel. Johnston continuing to stretch down. Actually, I think that might be Nolan Hunt. Take a look down there. Again, that pitch is on the inside corner, taken by New Sereno to make the count 3 balls and 1 strike. That is Nolan Hunt, who's out there in the Jammers bullpen. Three-one pitch. Inside corner, strike called, throw down. Alex O'Donnell with a tag, and once again, one of the Pioneers is picked off trying to steal by Chris Conley. He is just amazing behind the plate and at the plate. Orzel caught stealing. Second runner picked off by Conley. Nice tag, too, by Alex O'Donnell, right at the bag. Inside corner, strike three called. Nucerino was backing up. Tossed the bat over toward the Elmira dugout and was ready to take a trot down to first base. And it was strike three called. Home plate umpire paying attention to Nucerino to see what all he has to say. And he goes back into the dugout. And no ejections. We'll just put it that way. Well, nobody aboard. Well, maybe that John did pick up again by Anthony Nucerino or someone inside. And now he is tossed. Nucerino gets tossed. And the fans love it. And here comes the head coach, I think, Brian Hill. Down to argue why his player has been thrown out of the game. Brian Seamster is anxiously awaiting his at-bat as the home plate umpire says he just had enough. He did give him one warning when he first went back, and now another one of the assistants is out there in front of the Elmira dugout saying, what'd he say? And now they're saying he just didn't say anything. Well, that's not what the home plate umpire heard. And Nucerino has been ejected. Oh, maybe it was one of the assistant coaches that got tossed. Brian Hill, the head coach of the Pioneers. Archie McNeilis, the assistant coach. Andrew Drum, an assistant. And Mike Bullis, also an assistant coach for the Pioneers. And the bases umpire went over to, as we get into a good cop, bad cop here between home plate umpire and the bases umpire. Christian Young says, I got to stay warm. It's cold out here. So he's going to throw to Chris Conley while they sort this out. If he's been thrown out, he has to leave the field. And no one has left the field of play. Let's see who's going. Houston Roth grabs his stuff out of the corner. So it would appear as though the starting pitcher for Elmira, Houston Roth, has been tossed from the game. Roth waves to his teammates as he unceremoniously exits the field of play. He'll be able to get ready to get on that bus, take the ride back to Elmira in a hurry. He'll be the first one on the bus, I bet. Brian Seamster now, after all of that drama, will step in and try to have an at-bat against Christian Young. Takes the first pitch, ball one. Tell you what, Seamster really crowds the plate. If you happen to be watching on YouTube, you can see how close he is to the plate. I don't know if his lead foot, his right foot, doesn't actually almost step out of the batter's box when he leans in to swing. 2 balls and no strikes to count to him. That pitch catches the inside corner and makes the count 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 out, nobody aboard here. We are in the top of the 6th inning. Jammers up by a 2-0 score. That pitch is in there, and that is strike 2 called. Boy, that fastball that Christian Young brings is really a dandy. And he puts it right down the middle of the plate. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out in the pitch. Grounded up the middle. Alex O'Donnell just has to let that one go by and into center field. 2-out single for Brian Seamster.
Now put back the DH number 10, John Crimmen.
Brings up the DH, John Crimmen.
Next up's going to be Schaefer.
Crimmen called out on strikes for the final out of the 1st inning and grounded out to Alex O'Donnell to make the first out of inning number 4. Steps in now with Seamster down at first and 2 away. Drizzle has lightened up again, back to almost a mist. And the first pitch to Crimmen is ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to the right-handed hitting designated hitter. And Crimmen, the leading hitter on the team, hitting .500 coming into the action. Pop up over by the home plate grandstand and ends up not being playable for Chris Conley, and the count is even now, 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, we had talked about Ross trying to let go of the one call that he and Adams and at least a couple of the Pioneers thought was strike 3 and would have ended the inning. Instead, the Jammers were able to plate a run back there in the 5th, and he just didn't let go of it. He saw what he felt was an unfair call to his center fielder, Anthony Nucerino, and he continued to ride the home plate umpire about it. Warned once, and he just kept going, and the umpire said go. And he did. 2-1 the count here on Crimmen. Christian Young's 2-1 pitch on that outside corner, and the count's even at 2 now on DH Jonathan Crimmen. Crimmen 3 for 6 on the season, starting 2 games for the Pioneers thus far. Typical lead off the first base bag by Brian Seamster down at first. 2-2 pitch, high outside, ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes. On deck, Arnton Schaefer.
Did you say you talked to him?
No runs on 4 hits for Elmira, 2 runs on 4 hits for the Jammers. An error, by the way, for the Pioneers as well. 3-2 pitch, little run and hit. As Seamster took off, Crimmen just got a piece of it and fouled it back to the home plate grandstand. Count remains full at 3-2. Of course, with a full count as well, Seamster ready to go. Brookover, of course, not holding him to the bag at this point. Christian Young ready to bring the payoff pitch to John Crimmen. Misses inside, and that is ball 4. So after 2 out, Seamster singles up the middle. Crimmen draws a walk, and Arnton Schaefer will step in for the Elmira Pioneers.
14, Arnton Schaefer.
Schaefer singled back in the fourth inning and then was caught stealing by Chris Conley. There was a caught stealing in this inning as well. Andrew Orzel trying to make something happen for the Pioneers after he had singled, and he was thrown out by Conley to AOD. Hayden Carter out to talk to Christian Young. That conversation's over. Hayden trots back to the Jammers dugout. And still discussions going on between Brian Hill and the bases umpire. Nolan Hunt still fussing around out there in the Jammers bullpen. Haven't seen him throwing any pitches, but he had his glove on and he's been, I don't know if he's entertaining, carrying on, or just waiting for the word. Schaefer fouls back the first pitch from Christian Young, and it's strike one. No balls, one strike, 2 on, 2 out, line drive, caught by Jimmy Standahar at second base. And that will do it for the Pioneers in their half of inning number 6. No runs across, a hit, no Jamestown errors, and a couple runners left on base, and the score now at the end of 5 1/2 innings of play. Jammers 2, Pioneers nothing. More coming up after this on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network. Happy to have you with us on this chilly night in June at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
Well, Houston Ross shown the door by the home plate umpire back in the top half of the 6th inning. And, of course, that means we have a new pitcher out there on the hill for the Pioneers. It's Bryce Zaperzinski. Zaperzinski in. He's a right-handed pitcher, 5'11", a $185, out of Mansfield, PA. The redshirt freshman attending the university in his hometown. Yep, he's right there at Mansfield. And the ground crew, as Dom makes his way out with a little diamond drive for that sticky mound dirt that has been, I think, affecting the pitchers. I know Houston Roth had to clean out his cleats a number of times. So, little landscaping, little dirt work out there. Colin Stack going to lead things off here for the Jammers in their half of the 6th. As Ben Brookover grounded into a fielder's choice to end the 5th. Stack, Estrada, and O'Donnell. And there goes what was left of that bag of Diamond Dry. Actually, I think that was actually a product name, Diamond Dry. I'm not sure what this stuff is called. I'll take a look at it down there in the storage area before the next game and let you know what the official name of this dirt drying product is. As Dom's out there with the big rake, working it into the ground from the front of the pitcher's rubber all the way down to the bottom of the hill. And needless to say, the infield is filthy. This actually kind of looks like the designs that they put out there in the pitcher's mound. Dom screwed up the design. He started scraping more of that stuff out toward the edges. Yeah, that nice little design that some of the ground crews put in before the start of the game. But his purpose out there is not to concoct some artwork. It's to get the mound into a good pitching condition. Bryce Zaprzinski has to warm up with his catcher, Devin Adams, as Adams is over at the third baseline and Zaprzinski is at about the 10, 11 o'clock position if you're looking at the mound. And he's back there in the grass area. Last thing Dom's doing before he heads back and off the field is trying to clean out that cleat cleaner, which I'm sure is pretty full with a lot of dirt from the activities here this evening. So now Zaprzinski will get to throw a couple from the hill. And both umpires who are watching the proceedings as Dom worked the diamond dry onto the mound, they want to see if that's in a usable condition. Pitcher Zaprzinski does not seem to be bothered at all by the way things are out there. The umps split and go their separate ways. Zaprzinski has appeared in one game, went 2 innings, currently has an ERA of 18. He gave up 3 runs, make that 5 runs, 5 runs on 3 hits in his 2 innings of work, and that's what makes an ERA balloon early in the season. Jammers are going to try to see if that's a trend or if that was just a one-night kind of thing where Zaprzinski had a bad night. Stack will try to introduce Bryce Zaprzinski to the friendly confines of Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park.
Off the bottom of the 6th, so right fielder number 9, Colin Stack.
So Colin Stack steps in now. Hayden Carter, a late arrival. You see on the YouTube feed making a dash down the first base line to the coach's box. And he is set now, and so is Colin Stack. Stack walked back in the 4th inning. First pitch to him is low, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to the right-handed hitting right fielder, Colin Stack. 1-0 pitch. That one's low, ball 2. Zaprzinski with a 2-0 pitch. Misses inside, ball 3. So Bryce Zaprzinski in for relief, and his first 3 pitches, balls to Colin Stack. Stack dutifully takes strike 1, as he should in that particular case. 3 balls, 1 strike. Zaprasinski working quickly. Fouled off the end of the bat of Colin Stack. And the count is now full at 3-2. Chris Estrada with a little foul ball retrieval. Full count pitch well inside the Stack, and that's ball 4. Leadoff man is on. Estrada with the RBI single that brought in Chris Conley. Back in the 4th inning for the first run of the ball game. Jammers with single tallies in the 4th and 5th, up here in the 6th. And those 2 tallies good for a 2-0 lead. Runner goes. By Devin Adams, and he was with Chris Estrada apparently interfered with the throw. And now the question is, what happens with Stack? I think he should have to go back to first base if you're calling the interference. Anthony Barone throwing his arms up in the air. Anthony to the home plate umpire, bases umpire, coming over to talk to Brian Hill. And of course, this is somewhat such an intimate setting. Low crowd here tonight. You can hear everything that's going on down in the field. And now Colin Stack goes back to first. Okay. There you go. So the game gets just a little bit more interesting. 1 ball, no strikes account. Anthony Barone with the signs to his runner, Colin Stack, out of the coach. Third. 1-0 to count to Estrada. Ball 2. Strikes. A very light mist. All that's left here at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park. Snap throw over to first by Zaprzinski. And that sends Stack back to the bag. Oop, almost caught him leaning there, and Colin almost slipped in the wet dirt in around the first base bag, but he was able to get back. Lead foot. 2-0 pitch. Inside ball 3. I think low a bit as well to Chris Estrada. 3 balls, no strikes. Leadoff walk to Colin Stack. Zaprzinski is behind 3-0 here. That one's right down the pipe and taken by Estrada, and it's strike 1. 3 balls and 1 strike. And there's activity in the Pioneers bullpen. 3 balls, 1 strike. This one's lofted toward left field. And the left fielder gets underneath it. And Brian Seamster makes the catch. Of the fly ball off the bat of Chris Estrada for out number 1.
Now up the back, the shortstop, number 1, Alex O'Donnell.
OD at the plate was stacked down at first and 1 out now. OD on the night grounded out to second and called third. Fourth, up here in the 6th. With his team ahead 2-0, pops up the first pitch. First baseman gives chase and makes the catch in foul first pitch swinging. Alex O'Donnell pops out to the first baseman Braden Combs for out number 1.
Back the left fielder, number 3, Casey Vincent.
Well, Zaprzinski is trying to wriggle his way out. leadoff walk. A no-no for pitchers everywhere. Facing Casey Vincent now with 2 out and Stack still at first. And Vincent fouls the first pitch. It is strike 1. No balls, 1 strike. Casey Vincent will lead it off for the Jammers when the 7th inning comes your way. We have now completed 6 at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park, and the score is Jamestown 2 and Elmira nothing. Back with more right after this on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
There are many sounds in your daily life. Ones that make you smile. Ones that help you relax. And there are some sounds that can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you critical information about emergencies in your area. With updates from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know wherever you are. Learn more at ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York. Jammers up by a score of 2-0 as we head to the top half of inning number 7. Christian Young is out there for the start of this inning. Another fine start for Anthony Barone's pitching staff. And let's see who is due up. It'll be Braden Combs, Brett Rodriguez, and Brett Vosick.
Leading off in the top of the 7th inning, the first baseman, number 24, Braden Combs.
Braden Combs catching a pop-up there back in the Jammers half of the inning. And warming for real now, throwing balls to a catcher is Nolan Hunt. He's been ready to go for a while. Combs fouls off the first pitch by Christian Young for strike 1. And the 0-1 pitch. This one's fouled back. Hits on the roof of the home plate grandstand. And the count is quickly 0 balls and 2 strikes to Braden Combs. Combs called out on strikes back in the 4th. 0-2 the count to him here in the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 1 gone in the Pioneers half of the 7th, and shortstop Brett Rodriguez steps up.
Now up the back, the shortstop, number 6, Brett Rodriguez.
Rodriguez from Queensbury, New York, attending Wofford. Christian Young back on that first pitch strike stuff, which has served him extremely well in the ball game here tonight. 0-1 pitch. Cut and a miss, strike 2. Young looks like he did back in the first inning. The Niagara County Community College sophomore is throwing a gem here. 0 balls, 2 strikes to Brett Rodriguez. 1 out, nobody aboard the pitch. High, and the count now 1-2. Jammers started the scoring with a single tally in the 4th, added another run in the 5th. They lead at 2-0. We're in the top of the 7th. 1-2 pitch. Misses outside, and the count is even at 2. An unusual fastball miss outside by Christian Young. He's generally funneled that right down middle so far in the ball game. 2-2 pitch on its way. Off speed delivery way outside in the left-hander's batter's box. Rodriguez, the right-handed hitting shortstop of the Elmira Pioneers. Full count here. 1 out, nobody aboard. Payoff pitch. Cut and a miss, strike 3. 2 up, 2 down, both strikeouts swinging. For the starting pitcher in the 7th inning. Jammers appreciating this great start by Young. Here's a bunt down the third base line, goes foul. Bunted hard by Brett Vosick down the third baseline. Almost got it down to the point where it hit the bag, but it took that little turn. Foul territory. Grass is basically up against the foul line here at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park. There might be an inch or so of dirt between the foul line and the grass. Pitches inside at the feet of Vosick. He takes it, and the count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 pitch. Delivery on the inside corner taken by Vosick, and strike 2 called. Vosick from Omaha, Nebraska. He's attending Kansas as a freshman this year. Tip into the glove of Chris Conley to do it. He strikes out the side in the top of the 7th. How impressive is this for Christian Young? No runs, no hits. Nobody left on base. Score now at the end of 6 1/2. Jammers 2 and Elmira nothing. Back with more after this on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
.net Classifieds offers the freshest, most recent classified ads available with over 1,500 new ads each day. If you're looking for a reliable used vehicle, check out the multiple ads daily on Penn. From cars, trucks, RVs, and motorcycles, you can scan the ads at Pennswood.net at any time of the day or night and find something that fits your needs. Looking for household items, student housing, Pennswood.net Classifieds has it. Pennswood.net, where you can buy, sell, or trade locally.
Back at Junior Park in Jamestown, New York. Another pitching change for the Elmira Pioneers. T.J. Stewart, the right-handed pitcher at 6'1", 205 out of Milford, Connecticut, attending Manhattan as a freshman. And that does it for Bryce Saperzinski. I'll give you Bryce's numbers. Through an inning, faced 4 batters, walked 1, 13 single runs across once again in the 4th and 5th for the Jammers. No runs, 4 hits, and an error charged to Elmira. 2 runs, 4 hits, and no errors for the Jammers in tonight's game. Was that a nice throw down there in the end of the warm-ups from Devin Adams down to the shortstop, right on the bag. Of course, they threw out stacked to end the inning. Casey Vincent was at the plate, and he goes after the first pitch. 2 hops to the second. One. DH tonight is Connor Rule. Did some early there and catch the game last night. Seems to be doing very well. First pitch to Connors on the outside corner, strike 1 called. Oh, 1 pitch. Misses, and the count is even at 1 now on Connor Rule. 1 out, nobody aboard in the bottom of the 7th. 1 pitch way out in front of it with that swing as T.J. Stewart really fooled Connor with that one. 1 ball and 2 strikes a count. Here's the 1-2 pitch by Stewart. Catches that outside corner, strike 3 called. Two up, 2 down for the Jammers in their half of the 7th, and second baseman Jimmy Standahar steps in.
Back up the bat, the second baseman number 29, Jimmy Standahar.
Because of the electrical difficulties early on, did not get to tell you about the Jammers being in their home pin stripes with the navy numbers trimmed in the lime green and Jamestown Jammers in script across the front. That pitch misses to Standahar for a ball. The pitch in the dirt. skips under the leg of Devin Adams, and he took a little tumble there as he was trying to get a glove on that wild pitch. By TJ Stewart. Didn't need to be going after it with nobody aboard. Another ball to Standahar. Two out, nobody aboard. It's 3-0 to Jimmy Standahar. Third batter. Two out. Ball four. Walked him on four straight. This young man might be looking for a little redemption. Skylar Valentine stepping up, with Standahar down at first. Skylar struck out swinging in the first. In the fifth, and hit a deep fly ball out in the fourth to left field. Rips one foul down the third base. Between Anthony Barone and the Jammers dugout for strike one. Standahar with a good lead off the bag at first. A little bit the cutout there. Next pitch to Valentine misses, and I thought it missed, but must have missed. Umpires call for a strike. They have strike two up on the board. Pitch misses outside for a ball. Yep, 2 balls and 1 strike to count. I thought that other pitch was a ball. Two-one pitch, inside low, ball 3. TJ Stewart off to a good start here in the bottom of the 7th, and now having a little trouble finding the plate. Walking Standahar on 4. Valentine 3-1. The pitch. Standahar takes off, and the ball goes all the way to the backstop, and Jimmy Eventually makes it up to second base, checks back to see if there might have been a chance to advance, but there was not. So Skylar Valentine on base for the first time tonight. Standahar at second, Valentine at first, 2 out.
Chris Conley.
And Chris Conley will be the hitter for the Jammers here in the bottom of the 7th. It dearly to see him pick up. I'd like to see him pick up a couple. I'll take one, I guess, right now. Just don't envision one of these games going out to a 2-0 conclusion. But then again, Christian Young may be thinking a little bit differently. All right, here we go. 2 on, 2 out. Chris Conley at the plate. First pitch to him, he takes it, strike one called. Conley doubled and scored the first Jammers run back in the 4th inning and hit a sac fly to drive the second Jammers run in the 5th. 0-1 the count to him here. And the pitch by Stewart. That's fouled right off the end of the bat. Always loved the old phrase that I heard growing up where Bob Prince of the Pittsburgh Pirates would say, "Get some chalk for that man's cue stick." And right after that foul off the end of the bat, Chris Conley just took a look at it. If I'd have had a little chalk for him, I'd have thrown it down to him. 0-2 the count to Chris. 2-0 Jammers. Bottom of the 7th. Once again, right off the end of the bat, fouled. And the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. And Chris, I think, damaged the bat on that one. So he goes over to the dugout to get a new one. Ben Brookover pressed into foul ball retrieval as well. Newark it's in town tomorrow night. Make plans to join us here at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park. And then it's that favorite season. when the students get out of school and get to come and watch a baseball game. That is coming up on Thursday. O2 pitch, well inside, taken by Conley, and the count's now 1-2. TJ Stewart has buckled down here after 2 were gone. He walked Standahar on 4, walked Valentine on a 3-1 pitch. Is ahead of Conley, though, here. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 out. Standahar fakes like to third, and now eventually goes back to the bag. He got the attention of TJ Stewart, which is exactly what he was after. Backs up toward the edge of the skin in of the infield and the outfield grass, getting in the way of the shortstop, does Jimmy Standahar. Stewart comes to the plate and throws one high to Chris Conley for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tonight, pitcher for Elmira, Houston Roth, thrown out of the game after giving the home plate umpire a rough time when his center fielder was called out on strikes. That pitch is high to Conley, ball 3. And out of the many things that Chris Conley is able to do, one of them is to be a very patient hitter, which is what he's doing right now. It's drawn this count. He was behind 1 ball and 2 strikes, and now it's drawn out to a full count. And the payoff pitch, runners go, and this one's and hits in the third base bleachers. And they make some racket when they are empty. And that one certainly made some racket. It's now turned in, by the way, to a 7 bat with Conley up there. First 2 batters up, taken care of. Vincent grounding out on the first pitch. Connor Rule called out on strikes. Then Standahar walked on 4 straight. Valentine walked on a 3-1 pitch. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Conley. Outside low, ball 4. Loaded now for Ben Brookover. Standahar at third. Valentine at second. So you have a chance to bring in 2 here, Ben, with a double. Grounded into a fielder's choice that brought the 5th to an end. Big cut and a miss on the pitch by Stewart, strike 1. No balls, 1 strike, 2 out. Sacks jammed. 0-1 pitch. Brookover fouls one back to the home plate grandstand netting, and the count now 0-2. It's time to do a little insurance shopping, Mr. Brookover. No balls, 2 strikes. TJ Stewart on the hill. Oh, Ben chases one. Past the outside corner, does get a little piece of it, but it's caught by Devin Adams, and that will do it for the Jammers in their half of the 7th. They load the bases after 2 were out, 3 consecutive walks. Ben Brookover strikes out with the bases loaded. And that'll do it for the Jammers in the bottom half of the 7th. No runs across. There were no errors by Elmira. And, of course, the sacks left. Score now at the end of 7. Jammers 2, Pioneers nothing. More after this on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
Hi, Mom. Is Claire's birthday party today? Me again, Mom. Where did I put my history book? Hi. Sorry, forgot one last thing. Sometimes it's hard to concentrate. At school, I start looking out the window, and then I forget what I was supposed to be thinking about. I know it seems like I don't care, but I do. It's just difficult for me. Love you, Mom. Bye.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive. Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
Back at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York, as Connor Rule, tonight's designated hitter, helps out his fellow catcher Chris Conley and goes behind the plate to catch the warm-up tosses of the reliever on the hill for the Jammers. What a great performance tonight by Christian Young. And it's going to be in the hands of the bullpen. Bit of a roller coaster ride with that bullpen last night. Anthony Barone for a different result here tonight. As coming in out of the bullpen to pitch is Colin Johnston. Seen Colin a couple of times, been very effective, and he's looking to continue that as we see what we can come up with the 8th and 9th inning and try to close this thing out. I have inaccurate stats for Christian Young because of the power problem here earlier. Here's what I do have for him. I have an inning that I missed, and that would have been the 4th inning of Elmira. I have 6 of Christian's innings that are logged into the computer here. Faced 22 batters in those 6 innings. Gave up 4 hits. Struck out 10. He struck out the side last inning. And I have him with 85 pitches, 58 strikes, and 27 balls. Great night, Christian Young. Devin Adams, first batter to face Colin Johnston, fouled off the first pitch, fouls off the second one. Colin quickly ahead, no balls. On Devin Adams, the catcher. Looks in, shakes off one sign from Conley, and is ready to bring the pitch. Missed outside, counts 1-2. Conway appreciated the pitch there by Johnston as he did the old point the catcher's mitt at the pitcher to say good. 1-2 pitch. High chopper over the mound. Charging is Standahar, throwing and getting Devin Adams. What a great play at second by Jimmy Standahar.
Now the back of second baseman number 28, Andrew Orzo.
Those high choppers can be real problems, but that was handled nicely by Jimmy at second. Andrew Orzel is the second baseman for the Elmira Pioneers, and he steps in now. Hit a foul pop out to left field. Vincent, back in the third inning, singled up the middle in the sixth. First pitch to him by Colin Johnston misses, ball one. And the 1-0 pitch. The 3-0 pitch. Misses outside and low, ball four, so he walks Orzo on 4 straight after getting Adams to ground out. Anthony Nucerino steps in, called out on strikes back in the first, walked and moved up to second on defensive indifference back in the third, called out on strikes back in the sixth on a 3-2 pitch, and that led Houston Roth, the starter tonight for Elmira, to get a little too lippy in the dugout for the home plate umpire's taste, and he tossed Houston Roth. Here in the 8th inning, 1 on and 1 out. Nucerino at the plate. Instead, Colin Johnston tosses over to first, and getting back safely is Andrew Orzel. Colin Johnston's first pitch to the plate. Nucerino takes it on the outside corner and strike one called. Now, Nucerino was not happy with that called third strike by the umpire, and he said something to him on the way back, but he did not continue the discussion. It was Roth that picked it up on behalf, maybe, of Nucerino. I know Roth was disappointed in call in the 6th inning. I'm sorry, in the 5th, when the Jammers were able to bring home a run, and I think that had been eating at him from that point forward, and he just took it out on the ump, and he was gone. 1-1 pitch, check swing, Little looper down the third baseline, and the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. No runs, 4 hits, and 1 error for Elmira. 2-4-0 for the Jammers. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Colin Johnston in relief of Christian Young. Shutout for him through 7. That pitch is on the inside corner, and strike 3 called. Chris Conley was jumping out of from behind the plate to expect Andrew Orzel to maybe try for second base. That's not what happened. And there are now 2 away. Johnston picking up the strikeout. Here's left fielder Brian Seamster and Anthony Barone for the dugout. Quinn the Eskimo makes his way to the hill. He's got his hoodie on and his protective helmet on top of that. I was going to say I'm cold just looking at him, but the fact of the matter is it's cold. Take a quick look at our current weather conditions here at 10:01. I'm going to refresh this. I have the most accurate reading. And we are currently at a rip-snorting 52 degrees here at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park. Two out, runner down at first for the Pioneers, and Seamster bunts it down the baseline, and it goes dead in the grass down the first baseline. Johnston went over to field it and was expecting it to continue to roll, but it just went on that first baseline. So it's a bunt single for Brian Seamster. Runner first and second now, two out, and John Crimmen at the plate, the designated hitter. First pitch on the outside corner, strike one called. Crimmen called out on strikes in the first, grounded out to Alex O'Donnell in the fourth. Walked in the sixth. 0-1 to count the pitch. Outside corner, strike two called. No balls and 2 strikes. Colin Johnston means business, as he should at this point. Tough to be out there when you're only up by a pair. 2-0. Jammers hanging on to this lead. They took that lead in the bottom of the 5th inning. And as I mentioned earlier, the Jammers, when leading after 5, are 1-0. 0-2 pitch. Some heat brought by Colin Johnston, but high and outside. Down is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Two out, 2 on for Elm. One-two pitch. High outside, ball 2. Oh boy, there's all kind of deuces. Sitting out there now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, and 2 on. John Crimmen at the plate. Waiting the 2-2 pitch. Off speed. Delivery is popped up the center field, and Skylar Valentine says he got it. And when he says that, he squeezes it for out number 3. Skated by did Colin Johnston, but the bottom line is Elmira did not score. No runs, a hit, no errors to the Jammers. And a couple of runners left on base. The score now at the end of 7 1/2 is Jammers 2, Elmira nothing. We'll be back with more right after this timeout. You're listening to the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish, Dad.
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411. Fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Back at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York. On Faulkner Street. New pitcher into the game here for the Pioneers. Jammers trying to buy themselves a little insurance. Number 22. Aubrey Major out there in the hill now for Brian Hill. Aubrey Major, 6'5", 205. Indianapolis, and he's attending Xavier this fall. He'll be a freshman in the upcoming 2017-18 school year. Will face Colin Stack, Chris Estrada, and Alex O'Donnell for the Jammers here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Jammers hoping to now, which insurance company would they take? You know, there's so many now. You got Geico's and you got insurances and all states and State Farms and all of those insurance places. Buy some right now. Ahead 2-0. First pitch to Stack misses, ball 1. Aubrey Major listed as an outfielder on the Elmira roster. He's pitching right now. Tall, lanky guy brings it straight top. And that pitch misses low, and it's 2 balls and no strikes to Colin Stack, who has already been on base with a couple of walks in the ball game. Sixth inning for that. Next pitch misses low, ball 3. Stack trying to find the strike zone here. Major trying to find it against Stack. And he does. Over the inside part of the plate, knee high. Count now 3 balls and 1 strike. 2-0 Jammers lead. 3-1 pitch. Sharply hit into left center field. The left fielder over for it, but Colin Stack has single to left. A good step toward getting some insurance here by the Jammers in the bottom half of the 8th inning.
Third baseman number 16, Chris Estrada.
Chris Estrada, the third baseman, will step in. Give you some numbers, by the way. For TJ Stewart, went an inning, faced 7 batters, gave up a hit, walked 3, struck out 2. Through 30 pitches, 14 strikes, and 16 balls. Bunted at by Estrada, and it goes foul over toward the dugout. Strike 1. Anthony Barone looking for that. Approach here, getting the leadoff man Stack down to first after a solid single to left center field.
So, due to lack of people, Matt, just something nice and mellow for music for top of the ninth.
0-1 pitch. From Major, there goes the runner, Colin Stack, throw down, he's DOA. Wow. Nice throw. Devin Adams right on the bag, and his shortstop able to apply the tag, as right there was Brett Rodriguez. Stack caught and a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Chris Estrada. 1-1 pitch. High. Count now 2-1. Two balls, 1 strike, 1 out, and nobody aboard. This one's fouled back. To the home plate grandstand area. Counts even at 2 on Chris Estrada. Aubrey Pioneers. 2-2 pitch. Up around the noggin of Chris Estrada. He ducks down, and count now full with 3 balls and 2 strikes. Pioneers dressed in their road navy tops with the City Elmira in white. Infield pop-up by Chris Estrada, and the shortstop Rodriguez handles that for out number 2. As it turns out now, after Stack was caught stealing. OD at the plate. On the night, grounded out the second. Called out on strikes. And popped out to the first baseman. Back in the sixth. Again, strike two. OD not a fan of that call. No balls, 2 strikes. Aubrey Major with the 0-2 pitch. High. Taken by O'Donnell. The count now 1-2. By the way, if you missed Alex O'Donnell in our pregame show and our player profile, you can watch that on YouTube coming up later tonight after the game. 1-2 pitch. Cut and a miss, strike 3. Blew it by him, and that'll do it for the Jammers in their half of the 8th. No runs, a hit, no errors for Elmira, and nobody left on base. The score at the end of 8. It's the Jammers 2 and the Pioneers nothing. Here comes the 9th right here on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
So, I'm a dog, and I'm kind of new to this family, but I've noticed a trend. My humans do this thing where they go around and get all my toys and hide them in this basket, but it's always the same basket, and it's always the same place, and then they act so surprised when I find them, but I'm like, hello? That's where you put it last time. Humans are the worst at hide and go seek.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
And here we go into the Elmira half of the 9th and pulling some strings. Anthony Barone first. He brings Casey Vincent out of left field to become the pitcher here. And then taking the DH's spot in the number 9 hole would be I think it's Conti out there in left. John Conti in left. Everything else remains the same. Yep, John Conti in left. So, that's the way that works out. So let's see how Casey Vincent does. Not his trip out there in the hill for Anthony Barone in 2017. Colin Johnston had himself a successful little outing. As he gave up no runs on a hit So John does his job as the setup man, if you want to look at it that way, and that would make Casey Vincent tonight's closer. And let's see if he can do just that. Arton Schaefer steps in for the Elmira Pioneers. Jammers ahead 2-0. Conti in left. Valentine in center. And the new guy, Colin Stack, out in right. Around field, Chris Estrada, Alex O'Donnell, Jimmy Standahar, Ben Brookover, Chris Conley behind the plate. Here we go. Conley and with a discussion before this inning begins. Arton Schaefer singled back in the fourth and then was caught stealing. And out to second baseman Standahar in the sixth. First pitch to him misses outside, ball one. The Red Wings bullpen is emptying out and heading toward the dugout. Just one lone member of that bullpen crew still out there. This one's popped up high into left field. Conti could have ordered a sandwich till that got back down out of the sky. Jeez. High pop out by Arton Schaefer. For out number one. Jammers were scheduled to play Elmira on Sunday. Nature had different ideas. First baseman Braden Combs steps in. Strikeout victim in the fourth and the seventh. Nobody aboard, one out, 2-0 Jammers lead. The first pitch in the outside corner, strike one called. Shortstop Brent Rodriguez on deck. Oh, 1 pitch from Vincent. Brings some heat. Middle. Taken by Combs and strike two called. No balls and two strikes. Combs steps back in, and Casey Vincent brings the 0-2 pitch. Right off the end of the bat, back to the . grandstand area. Count remains 0-2. Similar to the Conley swings, where Chris eventually damaged the end of his bat with so many foul balls off the end of it. 0-2 the count here to Combs. Vincent's pitch. This one's fouled back over the press box area. Count remains 0-2. I don't know what it is about Vincent. I look at him and he appears to me to be bigger than what we have him listed as. Into right field, base hit. Colin Stack is up with that. No problem. One out, single to right by Braden Combs.
Brett Rodriguez.
Vincent listed as 6 foot, $195. He looks taller than 6 feet. The 195 is, I can buy that, but he does look taller. If it's the Jacob deGrom hair or what. Now, I know Norm, the public address announcer, kind of said he had a Tim Lincecum kind of look to him. But I'm going to go deGrom.
Pinch running for the Elmira Pioneers, number 9, Joe Prezuzzo.
So runner in for Braden Combs. Joe Prezuzzo. So Prezuzzo down at first. Brett Rodriguez is at the plate. First pitch misses outside. Ball 1. One ball, no strikes, the count. That pitch misses for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Prezuzzo down at first with 1 out, and Brett Rodriguez at the plate with a chance here. Elmira only down by 2. 2-0 Jammers lead. Top of the ninth. Pitch by Vincent. High, ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. A lot of mud tracked out there between home plate and the pitcher's mound. No activity in the Jammers' pen. They all have their hoodies and whatever warm clothing they have with them on. All standing up out there, too. And he ends up walking Rodriguez, which sends Hayden Carter out to the mound. Third baseman Brett Vosick about to in. Vosick double down the left field line back in the third. Don't want to see that happen again. Struck out swinging in the 5th and the 7th. In on an 0-2 pitch and on the 7th on a 1-2 pitch. Here we go. It is not going to be easy. 2 on, 1 out. Vosick at the plate. Pinch runner Prezuzzo down at second. Rodriguez at first. The first pitch is inside in the dirt. Good block by Conley. Ball 1. One ball, no strikes. Vincent's 1-0 pitch. Launched into the gap into left center field. 1 run is going to come in to score that. Pinch runner Prezuzzo, and here comes Rodriguez in to score. 2 runs come in on off the bat of Brett Vosick, his second double of the night, but this one ties game at 2. You can count that as a blown save opportunity for Vincent. And unfortunately takes a win from a away from a great start by Christian Young. At the plate, Devin Adams, the catcher, and the first pitch is outside and low, ball 1. Vincent got the leadoff batter, Arton Schaefer, to pop out to John Conti to start the inning, but it's unraveled since then. A single followed by a walk, followed by a double. And now behind to Devin Adams, 2 balls. No strikes. Elmira trying to mount the come from behind win, perhaps. There's some heat from Vincent. Adams has a cut. Doesn't get it. Count 2-1. 2 runs, 7 hits, and an error for Elmira. 2 runs, 5 hits. And no errors for the Jammers. Cut and a miss, strike 2. So Casey Vincent, after falling behind 2-0 to Adams, now even at 2. And really needing to get Adams here at the plate if he can. 2-2 pitch on its way. Outside in the dirt, Chris Conley with a great block. Full count now to Devin Adams. This is not an at-bat where you want to pitch to hitting. You know, sometimes you throw pitches to let a batter get the bat on the ball and take your chances from there. But right now, with this game tied at 2, you don't want to be pitching to a hit. Doesn't have to worry about it as Adams draws the walk. Second base is where Brett Vosick is, and first base is now occupied by Devin Adams, and second baseman Andrew Orzel steps in. Orzel's been on base a couple of times, singled back in the 6th, walked in the 8th. When he singled, he ended up trying to steal second and was caught by Chris Conley. First pitch is way high. Ball one. Chris Conley looks over into the Jammers dugout. Would imagine he might have been looking at Hayden Carter. And now there is some activity in the Jammers bullpen as the next pitch to Orzo misses for ball two. 2 balls and no strikes. Lefty out there loosening for the Jammers. That pitch is in there for a strike count, now 2-1. Nolan Hunt up in the bullpen. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 on and 1 out. And a game tied at 2. 2-1 pitch. Little low. Orzo wasn't fishing. He takes ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. Casey Vincent in a heap of trouble here. 3-1 pitch on its way. Inside high, ball 4. Bases are loaded. Vosick at third. Adams at second. Orzel at first. Anthony Barone out of the dugout. And he calls for the reliever that was loosening up. And that would be Nolan Hunt, the lefty coming in. Casey Vincent very disappointed as he heads off the hill. And running in to resume those duties is Nolan Hunt. So Nolan Hunt becomes the second pitcher for the Jammers here in the inning. Casey Vincent came in out of left field and was replaced in the lineup, in left field that is, by John Conti. So now you have a pitcher that's going to be in the batting order, as it'll be Hunt taking Vincent's place in the number 8 position. I'm sure if that situation presents itself, there will be, well, I don't know. I don't know what Nolan Hunt has been doing in college so far. Only a third of an inning tonight for Casey Vincent, facing 6 batters, 2 runs, 2 hits. Walking 3, the bases are loaded right now, through 24 pitches, not good, 10 strikes, 14 balls. And here's one of those things that you just hate as a reliever. When you have some trouble, like Vincent just had, the ERA for those 6 batters faced in a third of the inning, his ERA is 54. Like I say, it's not a good thing when that happens. Nolan Hunt, appearing in his second game, has thrown an inning and a third, and has given up a couple of hits. Opponents averaging .333 against Hunt. It's up to Nolan Hunt to shut down the Elmira Pioneers and give the Jammers a chance to win this in the bottom of the 9th now. Tough task ahead. Bases loaded with Vosick at third, Adams at second, and Orzel down at first. Center fielder Anthony Nucerino is at the plate. Nolan Hunt with the first pitch. Off-speed delivery on the outside corner, strike 1 called. Ben Brookover in on the grass at first. Standard infield position at second and short. Chris Estrada in on the grass at third, and that pitch catches the inside corner and is strike two called. Nucerino has not been happy with the calls that have been made not in his favor tonight. This is fifth trip to the plate. He has already been called out on strikes 3 times, walked the other time. That pitch well outside in the dirt. And since you didn't have a whole lot on it, not a problem for Chris Conley. Count now 1-2 on Nucerino. One ball, 2 strikes. That pitch is outside and low, and the count now is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nolan Hunt, the 4th pitcher of the night for the Jammers. 2-2 pitch to Nucerino. Just gets a piece of it. It goes down the third base line and fortunately hits that lip in the grass and rolls foul. Otherwise, it would be a 3-2 Elmira lead. Instead, Nucerino comes back to the plate and resumes with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. All the runners back to their bases. Bosick at third, Adams at second, Orzo at first. Nucerino with a 2-2 count on him. Nolan Hunt in to relieve. Hunt from Westfield, New York, attending Canisius. 2-2 pitch on its way. In the dirt in front of the plate. Bounces up and catches Chris Conley in the ear. And it actually takes his breath away. He's going to stand there for a while now, and the trainer is out of the dugout. I see what happened. Knocked Chris' glasses right off, and I think the lens popped out of his glasses. They're trying to get the lens back into the frames. And Chris trying to shake the cobwebs out a little bit there. Puts the glasses back on. Ready to put the rest of the catching accoutrements on. Puts his helmet on. Now the mask. He says, let's play ball. And the Pioneers with the applause for Chris Conley staying in the game. Counts full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. And the home plate umpire wants to know if he wants to catch a couple of pitches from Nolan Hunt. He says, nope, let's play. So the home plate ump dusts home plate off. Anthony Nucerino steps in with a count full at 3-2. Big pitch here for Hunt. Grounded up the middle. Second baseman Standahar to O'Donnell for one. They will not get. Nucerino at first. The ball gets by. Ben Brookover. And another run comes in to score. Vosick and Adams both in. And not only has Elmira come from behind to tie, they now lead it by a score of 4-2. Orzo erased 4-6. 2 out, but the damage is done now. Nolan Hunt and Chris Conley walk up to the top of the mound together. Chris trying to give Nolan Hunt a little positive talk out there. He's done with that. Now he heads back behind the plate. On the throw that got away from Ben Brookover, Nucerino, moved down to second base. 4-2. Elmira with the lead. First pitch by Hunt to Brian Seamster is outside for ball one.
I'm just trying to help you out so I don't get radioed in or relayed to you. I understand that. I'm just
1-0 pitch. On the outside corner that time to even things up at 1. Seamster, the 8th batter to come to the plate in the inning. Casey Vincent started on the hill and then was taken out in favor of Nolan Hunt. Hunt trying to shut this down. This one's popped up and Brookover should have it. Ben drifts over in foul territory, little basket catch action. Right by the bag at first base in foul territory to retire the side. But much to the chagrin of all Jamestown Jammers fans, 4 runs come across for the Pioneers in their half of the ninth, and they did that on 2 hits. There were no wait a minute, there was one Jamestown error on the play by Alex O'Donnell, a throwing error, and there was 1 runner left on base. Score now at the end of 8 1/2. Elmira 4, Jamestown 2. We'll be back with the Jammers half of the ninth right after this timeout on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
Chances are there'll never be an emergency ever again. But just in case, let's talk about a plan.
Okay.
Who is going to grab the go bag?
What's a go bag? It is a bag we do not have that is filled with things we really, really need in an emergency.
Guess we won't have to worry about it then.
Well, this is great. I am so glad that we don't have a plan.
I know.
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency. Who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Well, an interesting situation here that you don't find much in modern day baseball. It was Casey Vincent coming in from left field to pitch. So first of all, you're never going to really see that during a game, but that's what happened. Anthony Barone had all kinds of confidence in Casey Vincent to get out of the game. And put John Conti into left field. Well, what that does is gets rid of the DH. And now, because of the situation of Vincent coming out and the Jammers needing to come to the plate here in the bottom of the ninth, a pinch hitter, Christian Deaton for Nolan Hunt. And the first pitch to him's on the outside corner, strike 1 called. Major continues out on the hill for the Elmira Pioneers. And a big come from behind game for them tonight. Deaton takes that one right down the middle, strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes on Christian Deaton. The pitch misses well outside. And the count now is 1 ball and 2 strikes to Deaton. 0-2 the count. Right down the middle, taken by Deaton. Strike 3 called, and I think Christian thought that was a little bit on the low side, but he is out number 1 here in the Jammers half of the ninth. It'll bring up the new left fielder, John Conti. John's first trip to the plate tonight.
For your Jammers from Canisius College, number 6,
John Conti at the plate for the first time. In 3 games, John is 1 for 8. Means his batting average is 125. First pitch to him by Major is strike 1. Aubrey Major set to get his first win of 2017. Next pitch is low, and the count's even at 1 on Conti. 1 out, nobody aboard. Jammers led starting in the 4th, all the way up to the top of the 9th, and then Elmira took the lead, 4-2. This one's fouled back to the home plate grandstand netting. It's now 1 ball and 2 strikes on John Conti. Due up next, Jimmy Standahar. 1-2 pitch. Cut and a miss, strike 3. Aubrey Major blew it right by him.
Back up the bat, the second
A
baseman
called
of the
third strike, a strikeout swinging. And we're up to the top of the order, and Jimmy Standahar, 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out swinging in the 1st and 3rd, but then walked in the 5th and the 7th. Up here in the 9th, last hope for the Jamestown Jammers has a big cut and a miss on the pitch from Aubrey Major, strike 1. As I said before, Major set to attend Xavier beginning this fall. 0-1 the count, and the pitch to Standahar. Misses inside, ball 1. The Elmira bench, a little vocal, and the home plate umpire has a look over there. He did throw out tonight's starting pitcher, Houston Roth, back in the 6th inning. Next pitch to Standahar, misses, ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. Nobody aboard, 2 out. Jammers trailing 4-2. And the 2-1 pitch on its way from Major. Fouled back to the home plate grandstand netting, and the count is now even at 2. Jammers down to their last strike. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, and nobody aboard. Standahar trying to keep it going. Trying to prove it ain't over till it's over. 2-2 pitch on its way. Hit towards center field. Nucerino backs up and makes the catch, and the Elmira Pioneers come from behind to score 4 runs in the top of the 9th inning and walk away with a win tonight by a final score of 4-2. We'll be back to wrap up tonight's game right after we take this time out. You're listening.
Hey, Russell Wilson here, and I know how important exercise is.
It's essential. It's essential.
With Play 60, United Way and the NFL are helping kids stay active and play at least 60 minutes a day.
Healthy kids. Healthy kids.
But what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60 because great things happen when we live united.
Donate, donate.
Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Penswood.net Classifieds offers the freshest, most recent classified ads available with over 1,500 new ads each day. If you're looking for a reliable used vehicle, check out the multiple ads daily on Penswood.net Classifieds. From cars, trucks, RVs, and motorcycles, you can scan the ads at Penswood.net at any time of the day or night and find something that fits your needs. Looking for household items, student housing, or even a new pet? Penswood.net Classifieds has it. Penswood.net, where you can buy, sell, or trade locally.
So I'm a cat